Hi. Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, it's so good to, I guess, see everyone's name anyway. I can't see you personally, but let me say hi to some people. There's a lot of people already in the chat. Hi, Annie. Hi, Larry. Hi, Mary. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Diane. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Selena. Hi, Craig. Hi, Brian. Hi, John. Good morning. Hi, Tamara. Hi, let's see. I'm going down here. Got a good conversation going. Hi, Sally. I'm going to yawn. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Tracy. Hi, JD SNC1. You made ham and bean soup today and it was delicious. I'm so glad you liked it. That's awesome. Hi, Juliet. I think I just missed someone. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Karen. Hi, Elise. Or Elsie, I'm sorry. Hi, Linda. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Donna. Hi, Norma. Hi, Faith. Oh my gosh, there's so many people here. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Jacqueline. All right, that's going to be our first question. So I'm going to put it up there. Hi, Jay. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Leslie. Hi, James. All right, I think I said hi to everyone. Hi, Eleanor. How are you? So this will be our first question. So Lucy wants to know more about baking bread in the IP Duo Crisp. Okay, so the Duo Crisp, I don't think that it has the steam bake function like the Ninja Foodie one lid model does. So I think like you can definitely bake the bread in there. One of the issues that I've had with baking bread just in the Ninja Foodie, which is just like the Instant Pot Duo Crisp, is getting the bottom done. So I don't even know if you have the proof setting. I probably need to brush up on what the settings are, but the proof setting's a new one on the Ninja Foodie. I don't think the IP Duo Crisp has that. But you can look on my website for homemade bread, and I go over all of that, how to make it. And it would be the same in the Duo Crisp as it is in the Ninja Foodie. The only difference is if you have the 8-quart Duo Crisp, I think I use the 6.5-quart. So your bread might be a little bit lower than mine was. So you might be able to bump your heat up a little bit. But go to my website and just type in homemade bread. Or if you put in Ninja Foodie homemade bread into Google, it'll pull up my website and I go over all that stuff. But if you have a specific question, about like what temperature, that post is going to answer it. If you have another question about like a recipe or a different type of bread than what I have there, which is a basic like sandwich type of bread, so it's got a tighter crumb to it, then certainly ask me in the chat and I'll be happy to talk about that. All right. Okay. So this is a really good question, Mary. So you're trying to find the ham and bean soup. If you go to my website, thesaltedpepper.com, you can just type in ham and bean soup and it'll come up. But you can also do Ninja Foodie ham and bean soup, I think, or pressure cooker ham and bean soup, and it should come up on Google. If I was a little bit better at this, I would be able to post the links, but it's complicated. It's not really that complicated. I'll try to do it. I'll try to do it. But substituting yellow split peas for the beans, you can, but you are going to have to decrease your time because the split peas are going to cook a lot faster than the beans that I use. So I cannot remember off the top of my head when I've done split peas before how long they take. And I'm assuming you don't want them really mushy like you would with a split pea soup, or do you? Because if you do, then it doesn't really matter. You could pressure cook the whole time and they'll be, they'll just break up kind of mushy. It'll be fine. But I think split peas, if you're doing it for them not to be mushy, I think they only take like 5 minutes or so. They're not a long pressure cook, if I can remember correctly. So definitely what you can do too is when you want to substitute something and you're not sure about the timing, look up pressure cooked yellow split peas and see if there's a post for it and see what their pressure cook time is and what their volume is, because that's going to make a difference too. And then sort of adapt the recipe that way. I hope that helps. Hi, Angela. Thanks for joining us. It's her first live. Hi, Richard. Hi, Thomas. Okay, good. Right. Okay, so Brittany, this is good. I'm so glad. I almost sent you a private message about that poor bone broth that you tried to make because I really wanted to delve into that. So, just to give you guys in the chat a little background, Brittany made some bone broth. And what she did was, and this is because it was something that I guess she saw some Chinese type of bone broth that they made. They boiled the bones and then dumped that water out to get the impurities out. Okay. You know, that stuff that kind of floats and everything. So she did that. And then she put them back in. She did that on the stove. And then she put them back into the Ninja Foodie to pressure cook. And I don't remember the time that she pressure cooked, but when she went to taste it, it was just like kind of not so good. I also looked at what she had and it was not gelatinous like it should be. It's I don't know. You'll have to tell me, Brittany, if when it cooled down, did it become like thick and gelatinous? Because that's what it should do when it's a really good bone broth. It should be like jiggly, almost like jello, right? Um, so the questions that I have for you, Brittany, and you can answer in the comments, and then we'll get back to it as I scroll through. How many pounds of bones to how many cups of water? That is the biggest determination of how strong your bone broth is going to be and how good it's going to be. And I know this because I made the mistake before where I didn't have that many bones, but I still thought, oh, I can fill this up. It was like if you used a tea bag like 15 times and then decided to make a cup of tea, it would be really, really diluted. That's what my bone broth tasted like. And it was horrible. I just threw it out. And I realized, oh yeah, I didn't have enough bones, in there to make a full pot. So that's a big consideration. The other trick, in my opinion, okay, for making bone broth is you put in your carrots and your celery and your onions and stuff to flavor that. I do. Okay. I know you can just do it with just bones. This is what I do. I also put in some seasonings, some salt, and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And you don't have to use apple cider. You could use just regular white vinegar because you don't taste it, but it helps to pull out the collagen in the bones, which then is going to give you that really thick bone broth when it's chilled. Okay. It'll be jiggly, like I said. So let me know how many pounds of bones to liquid you used and then what other ingredients you used. And next time, just go to my website, thesaltedpepper.com, and check out bone broth. I have turkey bone broth, but it would apply for chicken as well. All right, let's see. James, I have the first generation of the Ninja Foodie. Is it possible to make chili? Okay, so this is one of those things where the first generation of the Ninja Foodie, what? Because Ninja decided that they would name, I think, 5 different appliances the Ninja Foodie. So I would need to know if it's the pressure cooker and air crisper. Absolutely, you can make chili, no problems. Just you can follow my recipe if you want for pressure cooking, and it'll work out fine. If you have the grill, which is not really going to be that good for making chili, you could technically do a low bake. But you're going to have a lot of evaporation. It's going to be pretty time consuming and probably not the best mode for it. So I would say if you have the Ninja Speedy, which I don't think you have, you could definitely make chili on the sear saute function. That would work fine. I'm trying to think what other Ninja Foodies would make chili besides the pressure cooker and air crisper. Can't think of one. I mean, technically you can make chili in the hot and cold blender, but I doubt you're talking about that. So, I will, I can't think of any other ones, but first generation of the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper, you can absolutely make chili in it. Okay. Somebody wants to know, hi, Mary. Have I ever cooked with a meter thermometer? I have not, but I've heard wonderful things about them. So I just don't have one. I use a what do I use, Jeff? A Thermapen MK4, something like that, which is just an instant read. So I think the meter's got the ability to have wireless and stuff like that. I think there's different ones, but I have not cooked with it, but I've heard good things, like I said. Thank you, Trucking Life. I'm glad you enjoyed the roast beef. That's great. Judith, you're welcome. Judith says, thank you for explaining everything. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. Cause I just got a comment on YouTube telling me basically like all I needed was the time and the temperature, but you couldn't just give me that, could you? And I'm like, sure I can. It's on my website. Just print the recipe. But in my videos, I like to be a little bit more, explain a little bit more. Okay. Let's see. All right, Deb, if I want to do baked beans in the foodie, do I need to soak the beans first? I don't. I have a baked bean recipe on my website and I don't soak them first because pressure cooking is perfectly fine. You can use dry beans. Just make sure you have enough liquid. Don't add in any thicker things until the end. And beans are tricky sometimes. So when you're adding beans or you're doing any kind of dish with beans and you're going to thicken it like we would with baked beans, make sure you wait on thickening it until your beans are cooked exactly the way you want to. Once you put in the tomatoes or maybe, even some vinegar, that will interfere with the way the beans cook. So don't add that stuff until after you've got the beans cooked. Or you can pre-soak them if you want to. You could also cook the beans just in liquid, just in water in the Ninja Foodie or your pressure cooker, and then strain them and then add them into your baked beans that way. And then, maybe put them on slow cook, or like I did, I actually put the crisping lid down and baked them because I wanted that real drying action, but slow cook would work too. So beans are funny. I've heard if they're old, which you don't know that they're old when you buy them from the store, that they can stay hard. I had trouble with my baked bean recipe. Like I think I tested that one, I don't know, 10 times or something crazy like that, because I was using two different kinds of beans because I wanted two different textures. I wanted a softer bean and then I wanted a little bit firmer of a bean, but not crunchy, and I used red beans. And one of the comments that I get a lot is that the red beans weren't as soft, and they're not supposed to be as soft as the other beans, but they're not supposed to be crunchy either. So again, whenever you're cooking beans, just make sure they're the texture that you like. You can always go back under pressure if you haven't thickened your liquid. All right, let's see. Good question. Do I have a recipe for a moist broccoli, cheese, rice, chicken casserole? I don't know that I do. I can't think of one. Let me look on my website really quick. Because I know I have a chicken and rice, so you could always put in. Sorry, this is what I mean. Like it's a little complicated. I gotta go and chicken and rice. So let's see. No, why don't I have a chicken? Don't I have a chicken and rice? I have a wild rice, but I thought I also had a chicken. Maybe I don't. Oh, you know what it is? It's ground beef, but that won't matter. You could just switch it out. So I have a cheesy ground beef and rice casserole. You could switch out the ground beef for chicken if you chop it really thin, really small, like bite-sized pieces. Let's see what the cook time is on this. The cook time for 2 minutes. So you would want bite-sized pieces in the, I don't even know what, now I got to get back to where I am to see you guys and I don't know where that is. Oh my goodness gracious. This is what I mean. Now watch me close out the live because I can't find it. This is what I have too many windows open. I did grab the recipe though, and I'm going to post it, but I can't find where I am supposed to be. Isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh, Jeff, where am I? I can't find the StreamYard live. I have too many windows open. I think they're closing. I'm still live though, because the green light's on, right?
I think so.
This is why I don't like to multitask, because I mess everything up. I need to keep that open.
Oh, there's too many windows open.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I had too many. So like I max out Google Chrome. Okay. Cause I probably have like 50 different windows open. So let me post the cheesy ground beef recipe. Now, when it comes to adding in the broccoli, if it's frozen and you don't mind it soft, you could probably add that in at the time that you pressure cook, because it's only a 2-minute pressure cook. And I don't think the time to pressure is too long for that, but it's going to be really soft. It's going to break up and it might actually just kind of turn to mush. So what I would do is probably cook the broccoli separately and then stir it in. But bite-sized pieces for the chicken, it should cook in the 2 minutes. You should be fine with that. And I just posted that recipe. I would post the ham and bean, but then we're going to have to go through all that mess again of me losing my way. Good evening, Ellen. How are you? All right, let's see. So Lisa's asking what I'm cooking tonight. Tonight is not Tasty Tuesday. Tonight is live Q&A with Louise. So one Tuesday I do the live Q&A. The following Tuesday I do Tasty Tuesday. And that's because my husband, Jeff, who just got home from work, on these opposite Tuesdays of Tasty Tuesday, he works either nights or days. And so he can't be here with me and I can't really cook and run all that equipment. I mean, if you watched our live behind the scenes, you know it's pretty intense. So he has to be here with me. So I do every night, every Tuesday, I'm live at 7:00 Central Time, but it just varies what I do. So today's the Q&A. All right, Eleanor, what about using hydrated for zucchini? Dehydrated? Do you mean dehydrated zucchini for zoodles or using in lasagna? So even if you had, like, let's say you sliced your zucchini into like it would be pasta, you know, which is a really good idea, and dehydrated it, it's going to cook really fast, I think. But, you know, it's worth a shot. That's a really good idea. I did something with eggplants. The eggplant's a little bit hardier, so it kind of holds up a little bit better than zucchini. So you could absolutely slice eggplant and use that in place of noodles in your lasagna. Zucchini, it just depends on how long you cook it. I don't think I would pressure cook it. I think that would just make it, you know, deteriorate. But if you were going to bake it, you may be able to control the temperature enough. But it's worth a shot, especially if it's dehydrated. You know, I mean, that's kind of a cool idea. And then it'll rehydrate with the sauce and the liquid that you put in. So it'll be good. Okay, this is a really good question. Elsie, do I treat elk or deer meat just like beef when pressure cooking in the Ninja Foodie? I am going to call in my husband right now to help me answer the elk question. As far as deer meat goes, it depends on the cut, but yes, most of the time. So like if I have a deer tenderloin, I would treat it like a filet beef tenderloin. I personally like my deer cooked just like I like my beef, which is medium rare, unless it's a tougher cut. And then you're going to cook it more like, so it's going to fall apart like a roast. So yes, for deer, yes, that's what I do anyway. Now it's leaner, of course. So you're going to want to watch your cooking methods, you know, and use a method that's going to be friendly for that. Now, Jeff, if he can answer me, I don't know if he can. I think he's feeding the dogs. I know you looked into elk recently. What did you learn about elk? And like, is it like beef?
It seems like it's flavor wise, it's like beef. It's closer to beef, and texture wise, it's somewhere in the middle. But it's definitely a leaner cut, so I treat it more like the venison. Then it's not venison though.
So is it okay? So what you're saying, if we have beef here, and then venison and then elk,
No,
or elk
would be in the middle.
Oh, okay. All right. So I guess the consensus is Yeah, pretty much, but it's leaner. So you want to make sure that you treat it as such. Okay. So it's not going to have the fat. So like the brisket or something like that, you're not going to have that fat that's in there, that marbling. So you're going to treat it differently as far as how you cook it. So like some of those tougher cuts, maybe slow cooking is better than pressure cooking. You don't want those real high temperatures. But it depends. I mean, I'd be willing to try anything if I could actually get my hands on elk or deer, but I can't. So I don't cook them that often. All right. Well, Melissa, welcome. So she's new to her Ninja Foodie, but loving all the recipes I've been making. Well, welcome, welcome. We're glad to have you. Let's see. Okay, James, I did answer your question. What I said was you can if what you're talking about is the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper, but some of the other, because Ninja named all these appliances Ninja Foodie. So Ninja Foodie grill, Ninja Foodie blender, Ninja Foodie oven, Ninja Foodie this, Ninja Foodie that. If it's a Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper, you can absolutely make chili. You can technically make chili in a dry cooking environment, which would be the oven and the grill, but it's going to be labor intensive. You're going to have a lot of evaporation. You're going to really have to watch it. It's probably not worth it. But technically you could, but definitely in the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker and air crisper, you can. Hi, Richard. Okay, Louise, how do you make tender roast and gravy? Well, guess what? I just tested a recipe. So first of all, a roast can mean a multitude of things. So a pork roast, a ham roast, which would be smoked pork, basically, and or a beef roast. It could be. So I'm going to assume you're talking about beef because that's usually how we call them, a roast, and gravy would be beef. It depends on the cut. You love all that. It depends. But it is true. It depends on the cut. So different cuts do different work better in different cooking environments. Okay. But if it's a really tough piece of meat, I think pressure cooking works well. And when I say tough, I shouldn't say tough. I should say lean. Okay. That requires a long cooking time and you want to get the temperature up to over 200 degrees. So all of the connective tissues break down and you have a nice tender roast. I would pressure cook personally. I just made a sirloin tip roast that I bought at Sam's Club, and it was really big. So I cut it in half and it was absolutely delicious. Now, ask me if I remember how long I pressure cooked it. No, did I slow cook it? Jeff, did I slow cook that?
Yeah, that was an all-day deal.
It took 6 hours. I slow cooked it. I wanted to slow cook it. It was delicious. It was so good. It was 6 hours. So I have that recipe coming out. So if you have 6 hours, slow cook it. If you don't, you can pressure cook. Just make sure you have enough liquid in there and then thicken your liquid to make the gravy afterwards. To thicken the liquid afterwards to make the gravy, you could use a cornstarch slurry. That's a really easy way, but it gives a glossy kind of gravy that some people, you might not like. You might want a typical flour roux based gravy. And if so, then you can do one or two things. You can actually put your flour and your butter in a little pan above the roast and you can cook it in the Ninja Foodie that way if you want. But easier than that would be to just do it on the stove and just make equal portions of butter to flour, a roux. Probably for a normal size gravy, you probably would need 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter to 3 to 4 tablespoons of flour. Cook it for 2 to 3 minutes until it just becomes like a light blonde color that cooks off the flour taste, so it won't taste terrible. And then set it aside, and then you can stir it into your gravy when you're done making it. Stir it into your liquid, to make the gravy. All right, let's see. Well, thank you so much, MD. I appreciate that. That's awesome. All right. Okay, so we're going to go back to Brittany here about the bone broth. So bone broth answers. I regret not following your recipe. That's okay. It was not gelatinous. I didn't think it was. 3 pounds of beef rib bones to 2 gallons of water. PC for 2 hours. It was very light diluted. Okay, so beef rib bones are huge usually. Did you use short ribs? mean, how do you even get beef rib bones into the Ninja Foodie? I mean, they're like dinosaur bones. I'm kind of surprised at that. It was light diluted, like you were saying, both in color and flavor. I did use carrot peels. Okay. Garlic. I don't put garlic, I don't think, in my bone broth. I think that gives it a funny bitter taste. Onions, salt, peppercorns, lemons, ACV. I learned a lot from the group interaction. So, okay. Now, let me look up the bone broth recipe and see how many pounds of bones to how many cups of water. Let's see. So 18 cups of water. Oh, you must not have made that. How did you put 2 gallons? How many cups are in a gallon? 16? 16 cups in a gallon, Jeff? I think so. Yeah, 16 cups in a gallon. Okay. So basically, I use 4 to 5 pounds of poultry bones to 18 cups of water. So just over a gallon. So you had too much water, to the bones. Okay. That's pretty much it. So for 3 pounds, I would have used shy of a gallon of water to get that really rich thing. It was just over diluted, most likely. Garlic, I don't think I would put that in there. That's just, I don't know. Well, maybe in a beef broth. I don't know if I would or not. Anyway, okay. Let's see. All right, Melissa, is air fryer mode on the Ninja Smart Lid the same as air crisp? Yes, it is. In fact, I think I got your message. I thought I answered you. I don't know if it was an email or something or a comment on one of my website posts, but I thought I just remember answering this. Yes, air crisp is the same as air fry. So I'll tell you the little story so you guys know it. Apparently, when they were testing out the Ninja Foodie, way back when, 4 years ago? Well, they were testing it long before that. So probably 6 years ago. There was a couple of chefs that took issue with using the word air crisp. This is the story anyway. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard it. I think it's true. They had a problem with air crisp. I mean, air fry. I'm sorry. Because air fry, to fry, indicates that it's being fried in oil, I guess. So they had an issue with it and the terminology. So they convinced Ninja to go to air crisp instead of air fry. And they did. And then I guess everybody was just so confused. What is air crisp? Is that the same as air fry? That they've now switched it to air fry and have confused us again. So yeah, they are exactly the same thing. No worries there. Jolene, hi, how are you? We did have a nice vacation. It rained, but it was okay. It was relaxing. And I'm so glad your French dip sandwiches turned out amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hi, Pam. How are you? Let's see. What am I looking for here? Okay. Thank you, Mary. Mary just said she loves my recipes. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Cooking with CJ. How are you? Good to see you again. It was nice to meet you in California. We had a great time. And thank you, all of you guys who just showed up in such a big way and were so supportive of CJ. And he did meet his goal of 100,000 subscribers. So we're just woo! Congratulations, CJ. Well deserved. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go down here a little bit more. Okay, James, say I'll look for the recipe on the chili in the hot and cold blender. I don't have a recipe for chili in the hot and cold blender. I said technically you could make it, but there's going to be a little. First of all, you got to make a small amount, right? But you could Obviously, because it has saute, you could saute your onions and stuff like that. You would want to use fully cooked beans in it, and you would not want to use the blend function. So you would want to use the manual functions and just put it on like a low cook, and it should cook up. Don't make it too thick though in the blender, because it's going to scorch on the bottom most likely. So make sure it's a little bit thinner, and then at the end when you're done, if you need to thicken it up, you could add a little bit of tomato paste if you want. All right, let's see. Angela, I have a question. Is it roasted chicken in the Ninja XL? My chicken comes out brown on the outside and raw on the inside. Okay. So I'm assuming that you have the Ninja Foodie, like 8-quart that is just the 2-lid model maybe. So you can pressure cook it, but I'm going to post a link in here I tried it like 4 or 5 different ways. Now this is in the 2-lid model. You can do the same thing in the 1-lid model using steam and crisp, but I decided to try it in the 2-lid model and it turned out amazing. But I think I also have the instructions in there on how to pressure cook too. So the issue with that is, I mean, I don't know what you're doing, so it's hard to say. Or are you trying the XL oven? See, this is where it gets confusing. There is a Ninja Foodie XL oven. There's also an XL grill. So here I am talking about steam and crisp and all this stuff and pressure cook and this. You might not have that appliance. So you're going to have to probably tell me which appliance you're trying to make it in. But if your chicken comes out brown on the outside and raw on the inside, and you're using a dry cooking method, it's because your heat's too high and you're not cooking it long enough. And when you say it's raw on the inside, are you judging that based on an internal temperature between the leg and the thigh, but not touching the bone? Or are you going by the juices and cutting into it and seeing some red tinged? Okay, because red juices and red tinged meat does not mean it's raw. Okay. It's not blood. It's not raw. If your temperature, and you have an accurate thermometer, is 165, your chicken's done. That the myoglobin is what you're seeing, and that is totally different, and it's not raw. So that's a misconception, because it looks like diluted blood. It's that bright red, but there's not blood vessels there. So blood goes through blood vessels. Blood vessels are removed from meat, from the muscle, before you get it, from the store. So, well, every once in a while I do see a little bit, but we don't talk about that too much. And that's the worst part. I have to pull out a little blood vessel. All right, let's see. Okay, John says, I have a broccoli, rice, and chicken as a 360 meal. I thought I had something like that. I think this person was talking about a whole, like, one pot meal, I think. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm way back. I'm still 15 minutes behind on these comments. Isn't that crazy? Let's see. Okay. All right. The first 2 times I made your shrimp cocktail sous vide, they were perfect. This time they didn't even really cook. I had temp the water, which was lower than 140, but you say the Ninja makes up for it. Okay. I think maybe I misspoke or you misunderstood me. What I'm saying is that, I mean, the temp of the water is the temp of the water. Okay. But what I said or have been saying is that sometimes by the time it says add food, it's not up to that temperature yet. So you've got to let it keep going, and it'll just be sous vide. You just don't have your food in there yet. With something like shrimp, they're so fast. What are they? 15-minute sous vide cook. So they're really fast. I think that's what they were. They were really fast. So you would want to wait until it gets up to 140. Now, if you're having trouble getting it up to 140, then there's a problem with your unit, I think. But is especially with the 2-lid models, I'm noticing a lot of people are complaining that it's staying under what they set it for. But if you let it go a little bit longer, it will get up to it and it will hold it at 140. but it may have just taken a little bit longer. So you may have just jumped the gun on putting in the shrimp, and it never even reached 140. So that's why they didn't cook. Okay. So hopefully that helped. Let's see. Let's see. Keep going on. Hi, Susan. I'm way back. I'm so way back. Oh my gosh. Oh, Colleen posted the ham and bean soup. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jill, you are so welcome. I need reading glasses. That's why I'm like getting in here. All right. Trucking Life's got a different opinion on the elk venison than beef thing of leanness, or maybe no. So you think elk is leaner than venison and then beef? Okay. I don't have enough experience with them, so I don't know. All right. Robin wants to know, would the timing on the ham and bean soup change if I used navy beans instead of lima beans? No, I don't think so. I think that would just be fine to just interchange them the same. Okay, so Barbara, do you know the temperature of the different sear saute levels in the foodie? I'm thinking of using that to deep fry shrimp at 350 degrees. Okay, so you would want to go on high, okay? But when you're frying, just like on the stove, I mean, you don't necessarily, you don't dial in a temperature. It's not really how it works. So you would want to go on high. And you can, I know people are going to be like, you can't deep fry in the Ninja Foodie. You can't deep fry with the pressure lid. And I don't recommend filling it up even halfway. I have done a little bit of frying. I call it shallow frying. Okay. So we want the shrimp to be able to go in, or whatever you're making to go in and be coated so you could fry it, but you don't want too much oil. Okay. So in the Ninja Foodie, or it won't sustain the temperatures correctly, is my understanding. Small amount, I have had no problems with whatsoever. So you would want to go on high, and you would want to have a thermometer, and you want to check. But 350 degrees seems high for me. But let me check it real quick to see. 350 seems high. Oh, 375. Okay. So I guess it's not high. I don't know why I was thinking it was high. I don't do too much frying. But yeah. So 350, you should have no problems doing it. Just don't use too much oil. All right. Let's see. Hi, Carrie. All right. So I made your fried chicken stir with chicken legs, which I cooked a bit longer. It was so delicious. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you breaded the chicken, the whole chicken legs with the bones in there and everything, and it worked out? I'll tell you, because I have been trying to fry chicken with the skin on. Maybe you took the skin off, I don't know, but I've been trying to do it with the skin on, like fried chicken, and it just never works, because when you put the breading on the outside, the fat doesn't render and doesn't get crispy, and you end up with this rubbery, texture, which I don't like. So I've never been able to put out a recipe for that. All right, let's see. I got to post this because it's just hysterical. I just got this visual here. So Brittany, we're back to the bone broth and the beef bones, which are huge. And so her dad solved them for her. I was going to say, I don't know how you fit that in the Ninja Foodie. I really don't. And Sarah B from Texas. Hi, how are you? I'm so glad that you liked it. Yes. I used to make that all the time because I grew up in Maryland, and Baltimore pit beef thing is big, and so I used to make it all the time in my oven. And I was like, I should be able to do this with broil. You get this really nice, flavorful crust, like you're saying, and then it is so tender and juicy inside. And of course, you slice it thinly against the grain, and it's just amazing. If you like your beef cooked well, I probably wouldn't use that method. That's probably for rare to medium rare people. If you like it well done, I would probably pressure cook it, honestly, because it'll retain more moisture, be a little bit more tender for you. Oh, great, Mary. I'm so glad. Yeah. So we were talking about cornstarch slurry earlier. We were talking about a roast. This is another option that I didn't mention. You can do a flour slurry in a canning jar, and I do that in my beef stew recipe. Although I did make the mistake and I used hot liquid, um, and it wasn't. I don't know. It worked fine, but I've heard since then, and I've tried it since then, that if you use a little bit of cool liquid, like just water, with your flour and you shake it up, it actually blends even better, which kind of is counterintuitive if you ask me, but it seems to work. I've tried it. Um, well, hello, Serbius. How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And hi, Lizards Travels. How are you? Um, all right. I'm going to keep going. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Roast the garlic first before adding it to the stock. That would give a nice flavor. I love roasted garlic. There's a moth in here and it's distracting me. So that's why I keep like looking over. That's a really good idea. All right, let's see. Oh, so did somebody answer this for you already, Donna? How can we convert slow cooking beef roast recipes to the foodie slow cook or pressure cook? Okay, so this is a big discussion that a lot of people have in the Facebook groups about how the Ninja Foodie slow cooker doesn't work and blah, blah, blah. I don't find that to be true. I find that it works great. I did it was a 4-pound sirloin tip roast on high in 6 hours in the Ninja Foodie. And I think that's an average time in any slow cooker. So it was beautifully cooked and nice and tender. So really, I mean, from my experience, I would not really make many changes if you're going to convert from slow cook to slow cook. The one thing I will say though is I would go on high on the Ninja Foodie for things like beef roast that really want to break down. I don't think I'd go on low, even though the temperature will get up and be comparable to, let's say, a crock pot. Eventually, it does have like a little bit of a ramp up, if you will. So the temperatures start out lower, then they meet, okay, and they get up there. So I would stick with high if you can, unless you're going to be gone like for 12 hours and you want to do low. That should work too. But I would stick with high for any kind of roast that you want to break down. Break down the collagen and make them nice and tender. I had a thought that I wanted to share and now I forgot it. Oh, yes. In fact, I was going to post this on Facebook and I didn't because I didn't think about how I would write it up. But it just clicked the other day because I see all these posts about slow cooking and how it does, the Ninja Foodie doesn't work. And then, my roast wasn't even nearly like done or whatever. Or my food was cold after an hour or two. And I got to thinking, it really matters a lot what liquid is in the pot, right? So if you're cooking your roast, which I did, I made the roux in the bottom of the Ninja Foodie, put in the onions, put in the mushrooms, I had seared the roast already. And then I deglazed it, of course, with the chicken beef broth and put the roast in. My liquid was kind of on the thick side because it was making its gravy and it was pretty thick, honestly. And so it took a while for it to get up to the temperature that I wanted for it to really cook the roast. But again, 6 hours, it was done. So that makes a big difference. If you're cooking something in like a thin liquid in a slow cooker, it's going to cook faster than if you're cooking something in a thicker, more viscous type of liquid. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Now to pressure cook, the rule of thumb is that it takes 30%. Let me think about this. It takes 1/3 of the time. Okay. But I don't find that to be true when you're converting from slow cook because we're talking about from oven or stovetop recipes. So stovetop recipes takes 1/3 of the time. Normally, when you're cooking something in a slow cooker and you're converting it from the stove, it takes 4 times, more time to cook if you're going to slow cook it. So I don't think there is an actual like conversion, but what I look at is if I was to boil it in a pot. So if I was going to put my beef in a pot and boil it on the stove, how long would I anticipate that it would take? And then I will knock that back to a third of that time for pressure cooking. And sometimes I just guess. Seriously, I just guess and hope it works out. Under pressure cook versus over pressure cook, if you're doing it for the first time. So if you have a 3 or 4 pound beef roast, you might even like look up on my website because I'm sure I've done something that has that and pressure cook. Let me think. But I cut mine. So let's look at it this way. If I cut my beef roast, which was a chuck roast, into 4 pieces that were chunks about like this. So they were probably, I'm going to say just under a pound a piece. Probably was a 3 pound chuck roast. So just under a pound a piece. And they took 30 minutes. So if I was going to do the whole thing, I would probably start out at an hour of pressure cook time. That would be my answer. And then see how it is. And you can always go back under pressure as long as you haven't thickened the liquid. So check for tenderness and then thicken after you know that your meat is cooked the way you like it. I hope that answered your question. Hi, Uncle Steve Shake. So I do have to say that I tried one of your seasonings for the first time when I was visiting CJ. Totally loved it. Totally loved it. So I'm going to have to order some. Definitely. Absolutely loved it. All right. Let's see. Okay. So Christy. Hi, Louise. New here, new to the Instant Pot. Super nervous to start making meals. Excited to run through your videos and see the things I can make. Well, don't be nervous because, we all mess up. We all have successes, trial and error. And I've done most of that error for you. So just go on my website, find a recipe that you like, try to follow it exactly as I have it written. If you need to make substitutions, feel free to email me, louise@thesaltedpepper.com, or leave a comment on that post, and I will get back to you on if you need to change anything. So like some things you can substitute and you won't ever need to worry about. Other things you might need to change the timing. So definitely email me and also read through the whole post. I can't stress that enough because a lot of times I'll go over all the ingredients and substitutions right there in the post. So I will tell you if you're going to substitute penne pasta for angel hair pasta or, even a spaghetti, you're going to change your times. Okay. Because the noodles are going to cook differently. So I usually go over that in the post. Hi, Linda. Welcome. Welcome. Good to have you. All right. Let's see. I'm so behind. Let me see. I'm at 7:30. All right. Let's see. Hi, legit Josh. How are you? Well, I'm glad you're liking it. And the smart lid pressure cooker, I think you'd love it too. I really do. I like it. I use it a lot now, and it's convenient. I still like the 2-lid model, probably just a touch better. And the only reason is because it has more clearance because the heating coil's not in the lid. So I can do more stacking in the 2-lid model, but I love the features on the 1-lid model. So I don't know. Maybe they'll make the 2-lid model with these new features. I would really like that. That would be awesome. Of course, they couldn't do the steam and crisp, but even just give me proof. Give me proof. I'd be happy with that. All right. Let's see. You know what? You know what I just thought about? Because I'm seeing answers to questions or answers to comments that I'm not seeing. I wonder if I have a setting in YouTube. Let me jump over there real quick. I think I might have a setting turned on that shouldn't be on right now, which does just highlights some questions. Let me see here. Whoops. I don't want to do that. I think I have to go in. Oh, goodness. I might not be able to change it. No, I can. Wait a minute. No, I just messed up. I'm telling you. Like,
Oh, no, I can. Wait a minute. No.
Sorry about that. For my let's see. For me, okay. So I had on top chat instead of live chat. I'm gonna have to remember to go in and change that every single time. So if you have asked me questions and I did not answer, it was not on purpose. I did not see them. I apologize. I will have to remember to do that every time because I stream through StreamYard, which allows me to stream to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And I have the comments coming into StreamYard. So I see all the comments, but if they only filter in what YouTube is populating, which was top chat. I don't even know how they determine what's top chat and what's not, but I probably missed a bunch of them. So I apologize. So I will do that from now on. So I just learned something new. Okay. So Mary wants to know, can you steam in the 2-lid model in what mode? Yes, you can. And there's a steam function. So you can steam in the 2-lid model. It's just set the steam function. Make sure that you have liquid in the bottom, usually water, because you're steaming. It's going to be coming out unless you're making a flavorful rice. You can actually use some stock if you want, but you make sure the vent is vented, okay? And then it will steam out. That's one of the reasons why I like the Ninja Foodie better than the Instant Pot Duo Crisp, at least the older version. I think they may have changed it in the newer versions, but the older version sealed the pot when you were steaming. And that was a problem for me. So that was one of the reasons that I really enjoy working with the Ninja Foodie over that. Okay. Over the Instant Pot Duo Crisp. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, so Anna, when PCAC the bone-in turkey breast, what's the minimum internal temperature should be when it is done pressure cooking? There is no minimum, honestly. I mean, I think I give some guidelines in my post about where you want it to be, but there's no minimum because you're going to air crisp it or air fry it afterwards. So you can air fry until it reaches at least 160 degrees. Now, don't scream at me yet. I know everyone's out there. No, it's 165. I cook my chicken and my poultry to 160 and I let it come up to 165 as it rests. That's my preference. You can cook it to 165 if you want. It's going to go up a little bit from there, especially a larger piece of meat like a turkey breast. It's probably going to raise 10 to 15 degrees while it sits there and rest. So I like to do it a little shy so that it doesn't overcook for me, because I'm real funny about stuff like that. So that's just me. So there's no minimum for pressure cooking, but there is an ideal. And I go over that in the post. Don't remember what it is right now off the top of my head. If I had to guess, I would say that you would want it to be around 145 or so when it's done pressure cooking, so that you only have that 20 degrees to raise. One thing about when you're cooking meat, I don't know if you guys have seen this from just experience or not, but I don't even know if I have like the rationale behind or the science behind it, but I've noticed it and I looked it up and it turns out that it is true and there is some science behind it, but I just don't know what it is. That once the meat gets to 2/3 of the way done, it's going to cook that final third a lot faster. Okay. A lot faster. So just keep that in mind, so that even though you're thinking, oh my gosh, 20 full degrees, I only want to, cook it, air crisp it for, 10 minutes or something. It's going to cook really fast. Okay. For that final third of the cooking time. All right. Now, if you're pressure cooking only and you're not going to air crisp, you do want it to be a minimum temperature of at least 160 with a 10-minute rest period. And it has to be 165 to be safe to eat. Okay. 165 for like 2 seconds kills every bit of bacteria that could possibly be there. And there's usually, I think today it's not really that prevalent that we're going to have salmonella in our chicken, but we still follow the safety guidelines. Hi, the cooking cop and babe. It was so nice to meet you guys in California. Gosh, we had so much fun. Thanks for tuning in. All right, let's see. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. I do a lot of research. Like, I didn't wake up, I wasn't like 3 years old and just knew stuff. Although my mom says that I talk so much when I was 3 that I guess I don't know, I was talking in complete sentences. She just told me that the other day. She said, and then once I taught you all how to talk and everything, and you wouldn't shut up. I mean, you would never shut up. Still true. Still true. All right. So Tara said that she made the ham and bean soup. She used the 7-bean package. Okay. So that's got a bunch of different beans in it, including some split peas, I think, and pressure cooked for 40 minutes. And it was perfect. So awesome. Very good. All right. Sorry, we are so far behind. Let's see. I'm just going through these real quick. Okay, so Annie wants to know about just coffee tonight. So no, it's not just coffee. As a matter of fact, the glass is getting kind of like icky right now. This is not just coffee. This is like in fact, I'm gonna have Jeff like refresh it because it's oh, I didn't measure. About that much Chambord. Okay, so now I'm gonna tell you what the drink is because I'm telling you how to make it. So it's Chambord, probably this much in the cup, that much Bailey's, and then a little splash of cream and coffee. We
You
can
want me
rinse
to
it
use
though.
the copy that's got lukewarm or starting?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So that's what I'm drinking. It is something that I had on Catalina Island. It was freezing when we were there. It was absolutely freezing. Well, I guess it probably wasn't freezing like for people that are in Alaska and stuff. It was quite warm, but it was cold and it was rainy and it was damp. And they're set up more for summer type of things, warm weather. So when we were going around and I think we went in to have an appetizer, I was just cold to the bone and I wanted a coffee drink. And they were like kind of short on things because they were also having trouble getting supplies because of the poor weather. The ferry wasn't even running the other day. So I was going through the bar stuff. Like, what do you have? What do you have? And we came up with the Bailey's and Chambord, and it's delicious. It's like a raspberry cream coffee. It's very, very nice. Okay, let's see. I'm just going down. Let's see here. Okay, Jennifer wants to know if I made gumbo or crawfish boil in the foodie. I have done a seafood boil and I've made gumbo. So I have both of those recipes on my website, thesaltedpepper.com. Okay. So just look up gumbo, and the search feature works so great. You can even put in ingredients and it'll pull up the recipes that have those ingredients. I mean, it really does work nice. So yeah, I have both. Now I will tell you the gumbo recipe is a cheater recipe. It is not authentic with a deep, dark roux. And I get screamed at. Oh, it wasn't. Well, that's okay. It can be cold.
Well, it was either that or
Okay. Now I'm going to drink iced coffee. It's just as good. Oh, that might even be better. Oh, that's yummy. So it's a cheater recipe. What is it saying? Basically, I put the flour and I think I might have used oil and not butter in that, but on top as you pressure cook, and then you mix it in. So it doesn't develop that really dark flavor. I mean, that dark color, and it has tons of flavor, but I more than make up for it in the other ingredients. And it's very flavorful. And people who travel to New Orleans all the time, and say that they love gumbo have said that it is as good or better than what they've had there. So it's good. Now, people that live and breathe New Orleans, they probably don't appreciate my cheater recipe too much because it is a labor of love to make that roux. And there's definitely a time and a place to make it. if you have never made a roux like that and made gumbo from scratch, I definitely would do that at least once. But if you want a quick and easy cheater recipe, go to my website. Okay. And then the shrimp boil is easy too. I mean, that's just dump in. That's got corn and all kinds of things. Even the shrimp gets pressure cooked, which I thought would turn out terrible, but it actually worked great. Crawfish could go in there instead of the shrimp, or in addition to the shrimp. That shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. All right, let's see. Oh my gosh. No, that's going to be too much. 30 minutes per pound of protein, that's too much. Too much time as far as pressure cooking goes. That would be too much, because I mean, think about it. If you had a pound of chicken, it's not going to take 30 minutes to cook that chicken. So that's not going to work. It varies. Trust me, it's complicated. Not complicated, but like I said, I guess sometimes, and hope I'm right. And if not, I start over. That's why I test my recipes so many times. Okay. All right. This is a good question. Can't go wrong now. Which is better, pressure cooker beef short ribs in the Ninja Foodie Pro, or to bake in the Ninja Foodie Pro? All right. I don't even know what the Ninja Foodie Pro is, but I'm assuming if you can pressure cook in it, I'm assuming it's the pressure cooker, obviously. That is such a good question. Both, okay, is my answer. So I would pressure cook to get them started and start to tenderize. And then I would actually air fry them, or bake them is fine too, to get that crust developed. That's just so delicious. So either way, I shouldn't say either way. Just jumping the gun here. Both functions, I think, are going to give you the best result. However, you could just pressure cook them or just bake them. If you're going to pressure cook them, they're probably going to take about, I would say, 40 minutes or so to pressure cook. And I've done this before, but I didn't like how they turned out for me. My sauce, my recipe, I wasn't a fan, so I never got back to it. They're hard to find where I live. We're talking about short ribs, not flanken style, because they're totally different cook times. But yeah, I would say about 40 minutes of pressure cook time. You could even go to 30 and then air crisp longer. So if you want to make sure that you don't overcook them, you can do 30. If you're going to pressure cook them all the way and not air crisp them, I would definitely do 40 to 45 minutes to get them nice and tender. If you're going to bake them totally 100%, I would do a very low and slow cook on them personally. That's what I would do. So I would take it down to, I think you can go to 250 on the bake function. So I would go down to 250 and I would bake them, and they're going to take hours to cook. That's why I like to jump start with the pressure cook and finish off with the dry heat. I think you'll get the best results, and air fry them instead of bake them. You'll love them. Okay. Yes, John, this is a great point. So some posts on Facebook, we have a Facebook group, have been concerned when steaming in the 2 lid that the pin locks and they can't open the lid. Yes, that is absolutely true sometimes. In fact, the newer models, not the 1 lid, that's not going to happen with the 1 lid, okay? But the 2 lid models, there's 2 different kinds of Ninja Foodie 2 lids. The old ones that were kind of like two-tone gray, and then the stainless models. I noticed with the stainless models, a lot of times the pin will pop up under steam, and you can't open the lid until that button pops down, drops down. You can't. So what I tell people is lower your steam time when you're doing that in the 2 lid model. Lower the steam time by at least 2 to 3 minutes, so that you are allowing the time on the back end for the pin to drop. That's the workaround for that. I don't know why the stainless model does it where the 2-tone never did it for me. It has something, I don't know. Honestly, I would just be guessing if I said I knew. I don't know why it does it. That's pretty cool. So MG says, I took a small filled jar of whole peppercorns and filled it with the W sauce, Worcestershire sauce, let it sit in the fridge for over a year. Okay. dehydrated the corns and ground it up. Wow, that's really interesting. I like that idea. I've been getting into dehydration quite a bit. I really am liking it, and I've done a lot of different things dehydrated. I'm not going to get into that now, but because I'm already way behind. Lucy, Worcester sauce or W sauce is Worcestershire sauce. I don't know if I said that right. I practice for my videos. I have to practice. Hi, Crystal. Oh, I'm so sorry you're not feeling well. And your doggy's not feeling well. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, okay. Okay, so the cloth that I use to cover the bread is a flour sack that I get them at Sam's Club. They come in a huge pack. They are awesome for so many things. That's what I use. However, you could also, if you have it in a pan, well, I guess you're gonna put it right in the pot, right? Like I do, because you don't have proof, I don't think. And so your fan's gonna be going, so you have to cover it with something. Yeah, probably that. Or if you don't have that and you had paper towels, you have to make sure they stay damp though. Paper towels dry out a lot faster than the linen little whatever it is, flour sack. It's cotton, it's not linen, but make sure that if you're going to use paper towels, you can just make sure they stay damp or they're going to really stick to your bread. And then the second proofing of the bread is when that really matters. The first proofing doesn't really matter so much because it doesn't matter if it sticks a little bit because we're still going to kind of deflate it and shape it and then get it to rise again. But the second rise, if you deflate it, you're going to have really, really dense bread. So just be careful about that. Somebody said that happened to them. That's why I was saying that it stuck and then it just deflated. That's stinky. You know what you could do though? I don't know why I just thought of this. Put a little olive oil on top and then put your towel down. And it doesn't have to be that. Any cotton clean towel will be fine. Just lightly damp it and put it over top. Dampen it, I should say. Okay. Let's see. See you next Thursday or Tuesday. I'm sorry, Barbara. See you later. I'm sure you've already left because I'm like 20 minutes behind. But anyway. Okay, so Betty, seafood gumbo. That is on my website. You would just take out the sausage. I think I have sausage, chicken, and shrimp in my gumbo. So if you just wanted to do all seafood, you would take those things out. But again, since the sausage gives such a good flavor, you might need to up the seasonings a little bit if you switch to all seafood. Now, shellfish cooks very quickly, so I would probably add it depending on what you're going to use. If it's all shrimp, do it like I do. I think I add it at the end and then let the heat from the rice and everything. No, actually, the gumbo doesn't have the rice in it. That's the jambalaya. Let the heat from the gumbo cook that shrimp, and it will. If it's, I I even think it would work with other types of seafood, like mussels and things like that. I have never pressure cooked mussels. I can't find seafood here. And I grew up in Maryland, so I'm used to being able to find it. I cannot find it here in Tennessee, except for catfish. Catfish galore, which I don't have a recipe for. I should, right? All right. Okay. First of all, thank you so much, JMF, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Do I have videos demonstrating the Ninja Foodie XL Pro Air Fryer Oven? A few, I think. Jeff? Can you hear me? I guess he can't hear me. I have a few. Not that many, though, which is I find interesting because I use it all the time. But I don't do recipes in it because it kind of works just like a regular oven. I mean, I don't make any adjustments really in any temperatures, and it doesn't do that great for air frying. So I haven't done a lot of recipes with it, but I do have some. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Any of my dehydration recipes are going to be done in that because that's what I use it for a lot. And then I use it, of course, to make toast, and I use it for other things. I use it a lot, but I don't do recipes in it for some reason. So not a lot, but a few. All right, let's see. Oh, my stomach's growling. I hope you guys can't hear that. Um, all right, let's see. Thank you, Brittany, for posting that. Thank you, Brittany, for posting. She's posted both of the recipes that we were just talking about. All right, let's see. And Crystal says if there's anyone that she's missed replying to, she apologized, but she wants to say thank you so much for all of your kindness. Crystal's dog isn't feeling well and she's got a migraine. It's just kind of been a rough day. So, oh, this is a good question. Jolene asks, have you looked into meat delivery company like Butcher Block to get your cuts of meat? I have. And I just have not like done it yet. I have. And I don't know if I don't know. Some of the prices scare me a little bit, knowing that I need 3 of everything at the very least. But I'm sure the quality is so much better. I'm sure it is. What I really want to do is go in and get, like split a cow with somebody for beef and things like that. I would also really like to raise my own chickens for meat, but I think that I just love them too much. I don't see myself being able to do that. But Jeff and I have talked about that as well. I don't think I could, though. I don't think I could. I don't know. And then, are you going to get pigs too? Well, I would love to, but I don't think I could ever kill them. I don't think so. No. I don't even think I could send them off. I'd be like holding on to them forever. All right, let's see. Okay. Katrina says she wants to make a prime rib with a thermometer, but don't know where to start. I'm assuming that you mean the thermometer that's built into the OL 701, maybe. So there's a couple ways you could do it. I mean, you could absolutely pressure cook your prime rib. I've done it. I know it's crazy sounding to a lot of people that are definitely into the low, slow, or hot and fast prime rib cooks and then let it sit in the oven. But I have pressure cooked one. I personally liked it better. I think I broiled it or air fried it. And I liked it better doing it at a hot temperature for a short period of time and then letting it sit in the Ninja Foodie to finish cooking. So that's fine. With the thermometer, obviously, you could also cook it until the thermometer reaches that temperature, right? And it's going to shut off. So you could use your crisping lid and just do it that way. It'll be fine. One thing I'm going to say, though, about pressure cooking, if you're going to use the thermometer, is don't set the temperature for what you want to serve it at. Okay. So this is one of those things where especially with a prime rib, if you want to have it medium rare and let's say 135 is your number, 135 Fahrenheit is your temperature, your go-to, and you plug in that thermometer, you select the pressure cook mode for 135, you do manual for 135, or you do medium rare on beef setting, because I think they've got those presets too. You're going to overcook your prime rib completely, because what that doesn't take into account is your pressure release time. Okay. Especially if you're going to do like a 10-minute natural release, you've got to build that in. So you've got to undercook it. So I would probably take a prime rib. If I wanted to serve it at 135, I would go no higher than 120. I might even try a little bit lower than that. And I don't know if the thermometer on the Ninja Foodie will go that low. So I'm not sure about that. But yeah, you definitely want to under program it, under temperature it for that program. Because if you go up, it's going to be like 150 by the time you get it out of the pot. Because even if you do an immediate release, which you can do, especially with a prime rib, it's pretty fatty cut of meat. It's not going to dry out too much or anything like that. So you could do an immediate release. You remember, it takes 5 minutes or more. So I would definitely set your degrees 10 to 15 points lower than what you want to serve it at. Okay. All right, let's see. Lizards Travels. I grew up in Annapolis and then lived on the Eastern Shore for a little bit. So yeah, I know Catonsville pretty well, actually. All right, let's see. Well, hello, Daddy Dutch Barbecue. How are you? Our trip was amazing. Thank you for asking. We had a really good time. Thanks so much for all you did, being on the live and everything. You pretty much handled everything for us. That was great. Or for CJ, I should say. I feel like I was included in that because it was just such a special time. Um, okay, Connie. You were talking about the ovens. You have to turn your heat down on it like 25 degrees. If you're using the flip oven and it's smaller, so it's more compact, less heat loss from that smaller area, I do turn it down 25, sometimes 50 degrees, just like we would in the Ninja Foodie, which is the smaller area. But in the XL oven, like it's still smaller than your regular oven, but it's big enough that it has some heat loss to it. I have not found that I change the temperature in that oven. Like when I'm making cookies and stuff, I keep the same temperature and they might be done like a couple minutes sooner. Okay. So you might be done quicker, but you definitely don't need to turn the oven temperature down. All right. Mary, cheesecloth should work for the bread, I would think. Sometimes the cheesecloth's got bigger holes in it, but it should probably work. Um, Annie, I see your question for eggs, but I don't know what it was about. So I'm sorry about that. Let's see. My stomach is gonna growl again. We're gonna make I'm not gonna say it correctly. So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna shave some lamb that I made because I also did a lamb leg in the pressure cooker. And we're gonna shave that really thin and make it tzatziki sauce. And I guess Jeff got some pitas, so we're gonna stuff some pita pockets. All right. I do not. I am sorry about that. I do not. But I'll look it up. Oh, I know. We did not do any cannonballs. No. It was cold. It was rainy. No, no. No, no. All right. Okay. I think I'm to the end now. So, as usual, I will say any last minute questions, put them in the chat now, and then I will bid farewell. Oh, the eggs. With the price of eggs, I would get chickens if I could. Yeah. So we have 2 chickens now. They're not laying right now because the days are shorter, it's colder and stuff, so they're not really laying. But we're going to plan on increasing the flock. We have got to do some things to make sure that they are really enclosed and safe in for a bigger environment and more chickens. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to get some more chickens because the price of eggs is crazy right now. I'm lucky though. I still had some eggs and they last a long time. Good. Okay, Jolene, this is a good question. Can you roast pre-peeled garlic cloves? If you wrap them in foil, yeah, you can just put a little bit of olive oil on them and then wrap them in foil. So, or I guess you could even, I would stick with foil. And you could open them up at the end, but I wouldn't like just keep them out totally, especially if you're going to use the Ninja Foodie with the fan or a convection oven, just because they're going to dry out some. But yeah, you can totally do that. I mean, the paper keeps them just a little bit moister. Foil will kind of steam them a little bit. So you might want to open it towards the end of the cooking or maybe halfway through the cooking. I'm thinking this through. This is what I do. I start talking and then I think it through and say, oh, maybe I need to rethink this. There's probably no reason why you can't. If you toss them in olive oil, you could probably just spread them out on a sheet pan and roast them. But go on a low temperature because you don't want them to burn and you want them to cook enough so that they're soft and just that golden brown. And you're not going to have the protection of the paper and the tightness of the bulb. All of that changes the way the heat is transferred. So you definitely want to go on a lower temperature if you're going to do it that way. Or you could like have them in parchment. Now that I'm thinking about it, you can have them in parchment, kind of make your own little bulb of garlic with parchment. That would work too. Okay. let's see. All right, that's great. You can send me an email, Louise at thesaltedpepper.com, and I will definitely take a look at it. Yes, I would definitely poke holes in the foil, but now that I've gone off on my big tangent, I don't know even know if foil is necessary. But you could start it off with foil, like, and poke some holes in the top area, and then open it up, towards the end to kind of get more of that browning. And let me know how it works because I've never done it yet. Okay, so I made coconut yogurt in my course. Ninja, what is it called? Jeff, what do I call that thing? Oh my gosh. MD, don't go anywhere because I'm going to tell you my story. Yeah, Ninja Foodie 101 Basics and Beyond. I make a coconut. Was it coconut almond yogurt where you make your own almond milk? I think it was. It was a process. And it's not something I'm going to do like for a video or even a recipe. There's just too much to it. You can do it though. And if you have the course, just go and look. It's in there. It's vegan yogurt. You've got to get the right culture. You've got to make your own almond milk. I didn't try it just all with coconut milk. So you've got to make your own almond milk and then you combine the two. It's a thinner consistency. And it was good. I mean, it worked, but I don't know, it wasn't my thing. So I'm not going to be doing a recipe because I got to test it more time than I did in the course. That was enough. All right. So MD, did you ever check into how to make buckboard bacon and ham out of pork shoulder? Well, guess what? I made buckboard bacon. I didn't just check into it. I made it and it is on a list for me to get a recipe out. I'm just trying to make it a little bit simpler than the recipes that I saw because I felt like my brain was like going crazy by the time I was trying to figure out how much of that salt cure to put on. And you can't put too much because apparently it's dangerous if you put too much. So it's not like, oh, just sprinkle it all over. I mean, apparently this is science, man. Boy, was it delicious though. Oh my gosh. It was so amazing. So I haven't done any wood fire grill recipes, but that will be the one that I do. I will do buckboard bacon and use the Ninja Foodie wood fire grill to smoke it. Oh, and then you fry it up. It's so delicious. So yes, thank you so much for that. That was wonderful. Caitlin, I don't know where my necklace is from. It was given to me when my nephew was born by my sister. And so it's a mom and a baby because I'm his aunt. So I'm like his second mommy, right? And I love it. I just absolutely love it. I wear it all the time. Okay, so me and Instagram don't get along too well. I don't see a lot of stuff from Instagram, but if you email me, Louise at thesaltedpepper.com, I'll get it. Okay, someone wants to know if I made popcorn in the new 701. No, I haven't. I mean, like I know people make popcorn like in the grill, but I don't know. It gets all up in there, doesn't it? I don't know. So if you want to make popcorn, I have made popcorn in the 2-lid Ninja Foodie, no problem. So if you're going to do it in the new one, you're going to want a glass lid or something to cover it. You can even cover it with foil if you want it, and you want to use sear saute. In my opinion, I think other people have tried other things. That's what I would do. I think it's going to give you the best result and be the easiest for you. So it's just like popping it on the stove, but you get this nice deep pot. Works out great. I love making popcorn in the Ninja Foodie. And if you want to take it a step further, look up my caramel popcorn recipe because that's amazing. So we pop the popcorn in the Ninja Foodie, we make the caramel in the Ninja Foodie, and then we put it all together. And it is like one of the best things. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to make that tomorrow because it's so good. I can't make it very often because I'll eat the whole batch. Oh my gosh, it's so good. That's it. That's it. Lizards Travels. That's where I got mine. Cultures for Health. And you've got to get certain ones. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see. All right. So we're talking about sewing machines. I'm going to jump into this. I want a Cricut. I want one. I want to play with that. And I don't know which one to get. And I haven't done enough research, but I do. I want one. I want one so bad. I love all the things that they can do, and I just think it's so cool, and I want to do it. Okay, so you have to send me an email if you know Jolene. So you get the maker. Okay. All right, I'll look it up. I'll look them up. I want to get also the thing that makes coffee mugs. I want to do all the things, right? I also want to get oh gosh, what is that thing called? Jeff, what's that Harvest Right thing? The Harvest Right thing that I want that costs an arm and a leg. Freeze dryer. Oh, I've been looking at those probably for 3 years. My friend Amber kept saying she wanted to get one. And then I wanted to get one. Neither one of us have one yet though, because they're so expensive, but I really, really want a freeze dryer. Bad. This might be the year. We'll see. Okay, let's see. All right. I thought so. I thought we were having a little spammer in the comments because I was trying to be nice, trying to give everybody like a little bit of benefit of the doubt, but I kind of thought so. And that's why I kept saying, just send me an email. And then they come back and say, I don't have an email. I have Instagram. Guess what? You can't have an Instagram account without an email. So I pretty much knew then that he or she was a spammer. But then now they want to ask me, I don't know how old I am. Whatever. Mary, you can't email from YouTube, but if you have email provider, which you have to in order to set up YouTube, I think, you can email me, Louise at thesaltedpepper.com. Freeze-dried astronaut ice cream. That's right. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to jump off here. It is 8:30 almost, and I have to feed my husband now. So we're going to shave that lamb and have some lamb sandwiches, which if anyone, you may or may not know, because I probably haven't talked about this a lot. I don't like lamb. I've never liked lamb, but we roasted the lamb. I can't remember. I don't think I pressure cooked it. I think I roasted it the whole time in the Ninja Foodie. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. The next one I'm going to test pressure cooking and then air crisping. See which one I like better. It's a boneless leg of lamb. And oh my gosh, it was so good. I was so excited. And I did the potatoes underneath. And so they like cooked and what as the fat was coming out of it, they flavored them. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was so good. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining in. This was super fun. We'll be back next Tuesday for Tasty Tuesday. And then Jeff and I are going on vacation, which I know you guys think that I'm on vacation all the time, probably. But this one's really important. This is for our friend Brittany's wedding, right? So Brittany Henderson, who's in the chat all the time, she's getting married and we are going, okay? And we've never met, but she sent me an invitation and I said, yes, I'll be there. So we're going to head out to be there for her wedding and we're really excited. And then Jeff's got family in the area. So we're making it a nice little family trip. So we'll be leaving on, I think the 25th of January. So that will interrupt some of the Tuesdays. But what I'm going to try to do is see where we are and see if we could do like a quick live or something, just to kind of fill you in on what's going on and maybe answer some questions and those kind of things. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. I'll see you next week for Tasty Tuesday. Bye-bye.